There's almost like this little mantra that you can, use in the beginning to help you remember, which is pad of the finger, pad, tip of the finger. So move it to the tip. Okay, tip of the finger, nails of the finger. So you literally need to flick it across to the nails. Okay, so pad of the finger, tip of the finger, nails of the fingers. Okay, if I was to do it faster, it would be pad, tip, nails. Pad, tip, nails. Pad, tip, nails. Okay, and if you just kind of watch your own hand movement, it should look like your hand looks like it's trying to, almost the wrist is doing the work. You're trying to open the door. It's the same movement over there. Yeah, same movement. So because a lot of people sometimes get stuck and then they just go, they're just doing this. They're never flicking across. Okay? It's very important to flick over. Now, quickly explain why. With Vitaflexing, what they realize is our flesh, when flesh touches flesh, it actually produces a very mild electrical effect. Mm-hmm. There are the days where, if you're more sensitive, you walk past somebody. Yeah? Okay. But even on a day-to-day basis, there's this thing called the capsule effect, which is the minute your skin touches skin or you touch somebody, we are electrical beings. There is very, very small amount of electric energy that's generated. Most of the time, we don't feel it, except the ones who are very, very sensitive. So we are actually trying to create electric sparks in the body. But when we move across to flick over to the nails are insulation. So it's cutting off the electrical circuit. So what you're ending up doing is creating pulsations in that electric current. And this is really cool because for those of you who are familiar with acupuncture, so if you go to the acupuncturist and they put a needle, there's that version where they clip the electric on to send the electric currents. So you literally right now are the machines. So you don't need fancy equipment, you just need your pair of hands. And you can create that energy flow through the body. Everything else, even the Vitaflex, even your feathering, the work, most of the healing work is done by the oils. We are just facilitating. So whatever we're doing, the additional massage, the Vitaflexing, we're just additionally helping the oils enter the body faster. That's all. So remember, if you take yourself out of the equation, it doesn't mean it doesn't work anymore. So there are people who just apply the oils and nothing else. And that is still fine. Yeah? So you mentioned a very good thing, Nora. It's the whole nails. You notice that if you really want to do Vitaflex, you can't have those.
Yeah, you see, I removed my nails yesterday.
Yeah, cannot. Okay, because you will torture the person. Because later on, there is even Vitaflexing on the spine, where we're doing this and we're pressing down on the spine area. Okay. So if you've got these wonderful, beautiful color nails, the person's gonna run from bed. Okay, so that's primarily it. Any questions so far? Cool. Okay. Now, my model disappeared. Since my model disappeared, she's back. A lot of times people think, oh, raindrop means I need somebody to do it for me, I need to do it for somebody else. That means I can't apply it myself, which is very poor thing, right? Yeah, nobody apply for you, how? So what happens is, Frances looked at it and then she started, she looked at it and she talked to Gary about it, and they talk about the idea of self-application. So you can actually just put the oils, okay, literally when I'm traveling. So when you're getting up on bed, okay, so you can do this now. If you're comfortable taking off your shoes. Okay. What you do is you take the oils, you apply the oils on your feet, okay, on your entire of your feet. The beautiful thing about the feet is it's small, but it's reflective of your entire body system. Okay, so for those who are really interested, there are lots of all these reflexology pictures that you can look at. Very easy to understand. If you look at it, if you put your feet together, okay, everything else right now is reflective of me. So where is the spine? Where's the spine of the feet? Right in the middle, because on my body, my spine is right in the middle. So my spine is here and here. Okay? Quite straightforward. Okay, does anyone know where is your lungs on your, sorry, not your lungs, your liver on your body?
Liver is on the right, right?
Liver is on the right.
Yeah.
So therefore, where would it be on your
Left
feet?
foot.
Here. This side.
Oh.
Okay? Where's your head on your feet?
Toes.
Big toe. Pretty obvious. The biggest one over here. So if you want to get an oil to actually stimulate the head and the mind, and you can't seem to, the person doesn't like it, the head, too smelly, or sometimes it could be cases in hospital where they could be on drips, and it's not very convenient, get to the feet. This is very easy to apply, and it's just as effective. The pores of the feet, very large, so the absorption of oil is very, very fast. Okay, it gets into your entire body anywhere between 2 to 20 seconds. Some people, when they apply peppermint, can literally taste it in their mouth straight away. Apply base of feet and then can taste it. So that does happen. Okay, so like I was saying, we will apply the oil, and all you need to learn to do is Vitaflex from the base to the big toe. Okay, so it will look something like this: pat, tip, nails, and then basically I'm doing the same action and I'm sliding upwards. So now not just pat, tip, nail, you need to move lah. So you're not just on one location, and you're actually sliding it all the way up to your big toe, and then give your big toe a nice massage. And then if you want to, start again. Usually we do sets of 3. Okay, so the only movement that you need to really get familiar with is pat, tip, nail, and then to be able to slide it. Yeah. So self-application is just like this. Okay, and then you switch, and that's where you need to learn to do it with your left hand as well. Okay, so it's not just with your right hand. So pat, tip, nail, all the way to the top. Okay, and like I said, that said, I have people who do this. Next oil. And it still works.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Lazy people.
The reason we do the finger Vitaflexing, it does speed up delivery. So it does help. Okay, it does have a little bit additional effectiveness to it, but it really doesn't mean that you can't just apply. And I have some people who are more sensitive to the oils, and their body tends to get rashes if they deal with oils with high phenol contents. So for them to touch the oils in their hand could actually, especially the first 2 oils are quite hot, the oregano and the thyme. So it's pretty painful to apply with the hand. So they literally do that. They wipe it at the base of feet, and that's perfectly fine for them because the feet doesn't get sensitive. Yeah? Okay, so any questions right now? Be creative around it, and always make sure you take care of your back. I do realize that when I try to do it for other people in home settings, I'm like climbing over them, and then after a while my back's like, stretching. Yeah. So you really need to take care. If you begin to really do a lot more raindrop, it is nice thing to consider. At least try to invest in a proper bed, because it really makes a difference. Because you're actually doing a lot for the person, and the last thing you want is you are injured. Not very fun. Yeah. So when you're doing raindrop, preferably make sure the person is not wearing any metal rings, jewelry, etc. Please surrender.
Or give away.
Yeah. Now, when I learned it from Dr. David Stewart, they were of course a lot more particular about not having even telephones in the room, not even silent mode, okay? It's like, don't not even on it. Okay? And then lots of things, up to what you believe. Okay, I always believe that at the end of the day, it's what you personally feel is important to you. Some people don't care, wear whatever, and then they still do. Doesn't mean that it will make it really, really much less effective. Every time during a raindrop, you use Valor to balance. Valor on its own is a blend that is very balancing and helps the body's energies to align. So on a separate occasion, you can just apply it to the base of the feet. For some people who are sensitive enough, they even feel their spine coming together. We've heard of that cases before. It's a very, very grounding blend. So it helps people to feel more focused and more present about what's happening. Okay? So what we do is at her shoulders, we're going to apply 3 drops to each palm. So usually the way I work, since it's 3 drops each palm, I literally just do 6 on one palm first, and then I spread it out. Okay, spreading it out. Okay, my hands a bit cold. So you grab hold of the shoulders. Okay, when you're holding the person, okay, what you're looking for is also a moment of quiet where your own energy aligns with that person's. Also at the same time, what you're looking for is you're tuning in to whether there's significant difference between the left and the right. For some people, they may feel heat more on one side than the other. Sometimes people might feel certain pulsating movements. All you're doing is you're holding it there, and in your mind, you could perhaps set an intention to just help this person balance, and you're looking for the left and the right to feel similar. And then you balance the feet. So shoulders and then feet. Feet, usually it's about 6 drops per foot. And with the feet, what you do is you cross your hands because it's left hand to left foot, sorry, and then the right to the right. Okay. It's the same thing, you're looking for the same, you're actually heading for the same goal to feel the left and the right feels balanced. After Valor that we're using is oregano. Oregano is a hot oil, so by itself, when applied to anywhere else in the body, you're likely to feel stinging. Okay? Because oregano and thyme are very antibacterial, antivirus. So that's their job. They're in there to actually clear away all the viruses, the bacteria, and also at the same time, what essential oils do is they also clean up cells. So garbage programming that's gone on in your body, the essential oils, certain essential oils, because of their chemistry, is capable of doing that cleaning. So if you look at all the different protocols that people have of Raindrop, there are many different versions, I've told you. There are usually variations from the middle to the end onwards. But in the beginning, valor, oregano, thyme never change. Always the same. Valor is always for balancing. Oregano and thyme are important because they do the cleansing of the body and cleansing of the cell memories. So this is also a part where you need to begin to learn how to work with. So because we're always going to start working on her right side first. So I'm going to use the right hand to work on her feet. Okay. Therefore, the left hand is the hand that will hold the oil. Okay. Usually in the beginning it's a little bit messy and then you'll be like, okay. So usually you do 2 to 3 drops. Then, you might have to take it from this side. You do the Vitaflexing. Okay. If you want to actually see, you might want to come all the way over here, so you can actually see from the base of the feet how it looks like. Okay. So I'm gonna do it for you guys. Okay. It says pat, tip, nails. 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 All the way. So notice by then, my last 2 fingers are actually free, but I'm still working. So I'm working this whole section here. Okay, and I'm going to do 3 times. So always from here where the ankle bone is, all the way up to the tip of the toe. The other way to guide yourself is, I find it easy when your foot is actually running in alignment to your forearm. So if you're doing it this way, it's always awkward. You're going to find you're straining your wrists and then you're straining your shoulders. But if you're doing it with this one straight line, it's always very easy. It goes in the flow. And usually you're facing the person that you're working on. Okay? Because even while you're working on the feet, for people who are very, very sensitive, they might actually begin to have sensations. Some people can begin to feel discomfort even at this point in time because of some reactions going on. So you want to watch your client. The last thing you want to do is and then the client, okay, so you don't want to do that, right? Okay? So always make sure that you can see the client. Just go all the way up. And the remaining oils, I usually just wipe it to the base of the feet. Okay? And then you switch to the other side. So, 3 drops. 2 to 3 drops again. Okay. Same thing. Go for the ankle bone coming down here. Place it over there, and then start working. Pat, tip, nails. Always foot all the way. Okay? Always. Okay. That's it. Thyme. So this is another oil that actually is really antiviral, antibacterial. So we do the same thing. Pat, tip, nail. It's always a set of 3. Yep, 2 to 3 drops on each feet. Okay. comes.
The all also depends on how big the person is, right?
Generally on the feet is 2 to 3. If you're working with a child, now we're gonna have to talk about that a little bit, okay? Because we do raindrop for little children. With children below 2, we use very little oils, less than a drop. So literally wipe the oils off the top of the bottle.
Oh.
Yeah. And if it's kids above 2, you can just use 1 drop. That's good enough. And yeah, there's many different variations, so we'll talk about it later. But also do not be deceived by size. So for example, especially when you're putting the oils on the back of the spine area. So don't just go, oh, this is a big guy, so I'm going to give him 10 drops of oregano. The person can be really huge, and we've noticed that sometimes it's the guys because they beard, hang out, then their body tend to be very toxic because they take in a lot of other stuff. 2 tiny drops of oregano in time can actually cause them to jump off the bed. I've seen that before. Big guy, okay, literally bounced off, and he's like, okay, very hot, stop, okay. And if there's any sensitivity during raindrop, what do you do?
V6.
Okay, yeah, or Vela, because Vela has a base oil. So the safest, the kit itself comes with a base oil called V6. That's just a vegetable base oil. So when there is sensitivity, never ever take water, wet towel. Don't ever do that, because you amplify the effect of the oil. So always use a base oil, because base oil are usually fatty oils, which means they absorb slower into the skin. So when you apply it on a person, it's going to lift the essential oil molecules and keep them on the surface versus the body absorbing it straight away. And that's why the person feels better. Okay? So there are 2 sets of muscles in our body, the voluntary and the involuntary. Voluntary would be things like your biceps, the triceps, the ones that you can exercise and do things. So if you have aches and pains, basil is actually a very good oil to use. In addition, basil is also an oil that stimulates the mind. So one of the blends that Young Living has is called Clarity. And Clarity has basil in it, precisely for that purpose. It really stimulates your mind and creates that sharpness. If they are going through some kind of treatment and they need to really super boost their immunity, so for example, I always make sure that if there's somebody going through cancer treatment, that they should be receiving raindrop almost every other day, because it really supercharges their immunity. Okay. On a day-to-day basis, if somebody is very run down, they've been very stressed out, it's a good, even just doing the entire thing actually really helps them just before bedtime. People can really go into deep rest, and we have had people use it. Normal cough, flu situation, the minute you actually feel that tiny little bit of scratchiness, we're a bit high maintenance. We no longer just go thieves. We go boom, raindrop, because don't want it to happen at all. Okay, so I don't even do the thieves. It's the minute I feel sniffly, throat scratchy, raindrop.
So that means if we want to do it on ourselves, we
Do the feet.
On the feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So do it at night, and it's never failed me before. Every time, if I catch it before I fall sick. So it really teaches us to pay attention to our body, because most of the time, a lot of us is like, used to take medicine, so fall sick, law, then you go and get a lot of medication, then you download your system with that. So after that, nowadays we learn to be very sensitive. You can feel it, your temperature goes up, you're starting to feel aches and pains in your body, slight hoarseness in your voice, sniffles in your nose. For me, raindrop. I skip the thieves, new power, all that. Then later on, I will add those in because I just want to use that as additional support. Okay, so after basil is cypress. Cypress as a single oil by itself is very good for circulation, and it strengthens the blood vessels, the capillaries as well. Okay. If somebody is having varicose vein or swelling, water retention, cypress is a very good oil to use. So rub it, use it to massage it towards your heart. So usually people will have water retention feet, right? So massage it towards the heart. Okay, get that movement going. Yeah. So one of the doctors who came over here to teach a class about mom and kids oils, he keeps cypress as his first aid oil. So for him, what happens is you have your usual lavender, valor for the open wounds, right? But he's also noticed that, let's say she has a wound over here, bleeding profusely. If I apply cypress anywhere else, do not apply it on the wound, apply it anywhere else. He noticed that it helps to stop the bleeding, even without your lavender and valor. He doesn't really know why. He suspects it's because cypress is so good for circulation. When that area is actually exposed to the oil, the area starts to move things very fast and pulls all that blood that is coming out from this wound to other area. So that's something that he will always keep as his first aid anyway.
After this massage, do we need to wear socks or what?
Not a necessity. Yeah. But let's say if you're doing it at night for yourself, yep, you can do that as additional. Some people like that.
Keep it warm.
Yeah, to keep it warm and help the absorption. Yeah. Cypress.
I spell the all need to match the cover.
Very good. So collectively, I've used this for my grandma when she had a hairline fracture on her bone. So when she fell, she was about 98 years old, and the doctors don't want to operate on her, but she was pretty much after that bed-bound, can't really move. So what we do, we no longer even apply the oils to base of feet, etc. It's on location. So hers was somewhere like here. Literally every time we visit her, it's just one oil after another. And I do Vitaflexing on her head. So not on the location of pain itself, but around it. So I don't want to press on it to make it painful. So I just, around it, I Vitaflex. My father, who was a Parkinson patient, I don't have access to his spine because there's no way he can turn around and lie on the table this way. So I just do Raindrop on his feet, okay? And then because he had a bed sore, what we tend to do is when we can actually prop him up, we want to actually help the area heal. Now raindrop oils are very, very spicy, so never put it on the wound itself. What we did was, the wound was somewhere here, so we'll apply the oils around here. And I always put a V6 first, because these are tender areas. So putting on the oils can be siap-siap and hot. So I always put V6 first, and then I just rub the oils. And because we can't hold him for very long, he can only lie on his side for so long, so no fancy strokes, nothing. It's one oil, massage very quickly, next oil, next oil, next oil. Okay, just to keep that area clean and uninfected. The next oil we're going to use is wintergreen. Wintergreen is actually really good for the skeleton structure, for the bones. So any type of pains that's bone related, wintergreen is going to be very helpful. And then what it's also really good for is opening lung capacity. So we've also found recently that some mummies like to use this a lot because rubbing it on the chest, on the back, helps the child develop lung capacity, and they tend to not get asthmatic, etc. if they have asthmatic history. This is very good for pain and aches. So separately, it has this component called metasalicylate, which is the ingredient that a lot of pharmaceutical companies will add into creams, etc. for muscle rubs.
Yes. Just I tried this on Tony.
Ah.
The moment I start, he start giggling.
Oh,
And then
the feet, is it?
Yeah.
That's normal. Shirley also giggles all the time last time.
But then he refused to let me raindrop on the
Then
feet.
what might happen is either it's applied to the feet, but you don't do any of this,
So just apply.
just apply.
Okay.
And then, or the other option is just put it on his back and full stop.
I
Don't-
did it on his back, he liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then just skip the feet. That's
Okay.
fine.
But the benefit will still be the same, or it must be complete with feet and
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, yeah, if I'm gonna forsake, it's like just do back only.
okay.
The entire protocol, I'm sure it's for a reason, but I've never seen that if you just do feet only or just do back only means, well, not gonna work. It always seems to help. That's why we're saying at the end of the day, this is really the oils working. The additional actions just facilitates additional speed, yeah, or amplify the oils a little bit, that's all. Okay, two more oils. The last second one is marjoram. Marjoram is usually for involuntary muscles. The way I remember, Emma, marjoram for menses. Very easy, and that's an involuntary muscle. You can't really control it that much. But it's fantastic for things like this. So if you are having cramps, marjoram is actually a very, very good oil. Some people with tension headache, marjoram, same thing. It's muscles around your neck, around your head area. So they use this for severe tension headaches. So the last one is peppermint. Peppermint is actually very good for respiratory, very good for digestion, stimulating for the entire body, create sharpness, clarity, focus. It's also for inflammation of the body. And the best thing why it's the last, it's because it actually helps to speed up the rest of the oils as well. Peppermint oil has, compared to all the other oils, have tinier molecules. Not that we can see it, but the scientists looked at it, it has tinier molecules. So the body tends to absorb it really fast, which means when you apply it, and there's other oils before that, it moves everything else into the body really fast as well. So I don't know if any of you have that particular batch of peppermint that didn't smell the nicest.
Yeah.
The thing about that particular batch is if you actually have that, you should really keep it because it's a very, very good batch.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So
I finished
if you
it as fast as I could.
because what happened was Gary was asked to explain it because most of us, we judge the quality of our oil based on smell. And it was so used to peppermint, so when this one particular batch came and it just smells weird, everybody complained like crazy, including Shinalin. Okay? When I apply it in the car, she'll be like, what is that? And I will go, oh, it's peppermint. And then they go, how can that be? The peppermint sundae is so smelly. Gary himself actually did test on it. So literally the story is, for those of you who've never heard about it, and if other people ask you next time, usually when they cut the crops, they need to leave it out to let it air dry. Okay, the amount of time that they leave it out, they try to keep it the same. But if let's say there's a storm coming in, you don't leave it lying around because you're going to lose all your crops. So they actually have this batch which they actually have to bring it in slightly earlier. Not like huge difference, slightly earlier. But because of that, it actually has certain chemical properties that didn't go away or stayed in the plants in addition. But when he tested it, he realized that there were certain healing properties of the peppermint that were higher than the normal ones. So at that point in time, he actually said, if I were you, even if you don't like the smell, I would keep this. Because it's actually, the property that was in it is particularly good for inflammation, aches and pains. Yeah. So it's also very important to learn that with therapeutic grade essential oils, you don't judge it by the smell. Because if you do, or if a company is capable of controlling smells like that, then it's questionable. Because then they get to play around with how it smells. Yeah. So I always tell people, essential oils are like wine. Okay? Give you the same plot of land, year after year, it's going to have slight variation. If it's exactly the same, you should be wondering whether you're drinking some kind of syrup. Okay? So, that's pretty much it for the feet. Okay? The Vitaflexing. To Raindrop, and you're doing the first 2 oils, keep it to just 2 to 3 drops. 2 drops if you really want to be safe. If you know that person is a huge meat eater, drinks a lot of beer, wine, okay, smokes a lot, etc. Keep it gentle because it can have very, very fast reaction. So it's important to actually start all the way at the tailbone, okay, and you're working all the way up here to the atlas. So what you usually do, for people who are into energy work, some people believe in the auric field, etc. Okay, you will actually drip the oil a certain distance, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the reason for the distance rather than very, very close to just the physical body is for the ones who work with energy and are actually sensitive enough to the energy. They can feel the difference when the oils work through these energy fields of your body rather than just on the physical body itself. Then you will see that it says there feather and fan. Feather, what you need to remember is 6-inch, 12-inch, full length. Okay, so 6-inch, usually you can divide the body into 3 parts. So it's basically like this. Then I go to the second section, and then I go to the third section. Okay, 6 inches done. 12 inches is usually halfway point. 3 times. Go up. 3 times. Full length all the way up. 1, 2, 3. Got catch ball?
6, 12, 12,
6, 12, full.
Okay.
So 6, remember, you kind of divide the body into 3 parts. That? So it's 6, 6, 6. Then you go 12. Usually it's 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then full length. 1, 2, 3. Make sense? Okay. And then you see it says fan. Fan is to the side. Okay. So each position, just do 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, one of the areas to always watch out for is the neck area. So the hot oils tend to run because of the curvature of the body tends to run and accumulate in this area. So when you're doing it for somebody, you're constantly looking out for redness, or if the person might tell you they feel itchy, the kids will always tell you. They will not hesitate, okay? The adults are the one that will loon, and then you until very sharp. Sometimes redness doesn't show, but it can still be itchy. So you can always check with the person if they're fine. Okay. Correct. Then you work on time. Okay. I'm going to do 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the longer ones. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Full length. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I'm keeping it very simple and short here. There are certain protocols where they say repeat this 3 times. So that's why I told you there's many different types of protocol. Choose what works for you. So we're going to keep it simple. It's all one time. Okay? So you're going to see time, it says feather for stop. Basil. Basil by then is usually a gentle oil. So you can feed the person onto the body 4, 5, 6 drops. But this is also the time, usually when you add basil, is by this time, the person is usually responding to the oregano and thyme. So if you come and look, she actually has some red spots coming up. Okay, some redness coming up. Yeah, mild red spots. If a person is unwell, generally the redness is full-fledged. You can see the entire spine is red. It's a little bit like Chinese guasa. You know, that version usually, of course, they use strength. But this one, it's just expelling the toxins, etc. Person might feel heat, might feel itchiness. So if they do, we always make sure that we put V6 on. Are you okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So what does your note say, Basil?
Feather.
Feather.
Yes.
Remember, it's 6, 12, full, right? 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Halfway. Full length. Okay? And then after that, it says some kind of massage. What is it? Spinal tissue pull. Okay? Basil is usually, remember, working on the muscles, right? So for the spinal tissue move, what you're doing is you're moving these set of muscles away from the spine. Okay? They usually, after a lot of tension because of a sitting posture, etc., it tightens up. Okay? So what we're doing is trying to separate the muscles away from the spine so that the spine has space to move. So how it looks like is you're going to place your fingers on the muscle area beside the spine. Never ever press on the spine itself. Okay, so it looks like this. And the heels of your palm pressing against that person so that you get support. If you're doing this, you're going to break your fingers very soon. So heels of the palm, and then what you're doing is you're grabbing the muscle and you're pulling it away. Okay? When you're doing this set of movement, you probably will be able to pick up where the tight muscles are. So later on, when you apply aromacease, which is for stiff muscles, you can target areas that are very tight. So even to the neck area, you want to make sure that you still pull gently. This is one side, and then you have to do it the other side, where the redness appears. Most of the time, if it's a general virus, respiratory issue, it's usually top half of the body, along the spine. Okay. We have seen cases where redness can appear here, patches here. This is your kidney area. So it could be suggesting there are certain imbalances in the kidney, maybe not enough water, etc. We've seen spots appearing all over body. Dr. David Stewart talks about these circular spots and says those very often are vaccines. So people have been vaccinated. And that lady who, when it showed up, it was like her vaccine was 20 years ago. Yeah, and it still came out. One last time. I usually put a lot more cypress because cypress is circulation for the entire system. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And it says feather, right?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 for the 12-inch. 1, 2, 3. Then full length. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then this part, it says finger straddle technique. The third finger pressing to the side of the spine. You are creating a dragging movement, okay, to activate the lymph nodes that runs along the spine. Okay. But at the same time, what makes it a little bit trickier is you got to move this other hand this way. So you're pressing down and you're shaking the body. You're moving the body.
So you're shaking the body, not the... I tried this, I got difficulty coordinating.
Yeah, so you're actually moving. So gain control of the body a little bit. You're actually dragging and moving at the same time.
So the other hand is to drag and move the
Yeah,
body.
this is doing this. This is doing this. So it's a little bit of coordination work. Okay? And then drag it all the way down. Be careful this section because it's a lot more fragile, but you want to drag it all the way up. Okay, this is a very, very good section to actually massage into. So start again. So if you have the time, wow, very short for the husbands.
Yeah,
okay.
you
It's
like it a lot, I'm struggling.
really okay, because when you move the body is actually usually when someone is relaxed, their body moves with you. There are certain bodies that I see don't move, no matter how much I shake it. Okay? And this is a nice rocking movement for the body, which is why for the full raindrop, it's very relaxing. It's like little children, you know, in the yaolan. This is very relaxing for the person. And then you'll notice that the movement will start changing. Usually towards mid-back onwards, it's shorter movements. It's just the nature of the body. It doesn't shake that much when it's further up. All the way up. Okay? One last time. Follow the body's rhythm. Okay? So when you're moving, the body starts to move. Move the body with rhythm. Then you see it slow down, mid back. Okay, that's finger straddle. You can do 5-6 drops on the back. Same, 1, 2, 3. The whole feathering action, right? It's really soft and gentle, so you're not trying to scratch the person's body. It's just to stimulate the body. Okay, so feathering, right? And then it says thumb Vitaflex. So remember we did finger Vitaflex, hat, tip, nail. Thumb Vitaflex is the same action except you're using your thumb. Okay, and this one you do use a little bit of force. Okay, so what you do, spine, place the fingers at the side, never on the spine itself, so to the side. And notice what I do is you always straddle your fingers, one above, one below, versus doing it this way. So when you do it this way, if they're aligned properly, I do pat, tip, nail. Guess what's going to happen? My knuckles will hit. Okay? So I always separate it, pat, tip, nail. Pat, tip, nail. Pat, tip, nail. Pat, tip, nail. So when it looks fast, you're actually pressing fairly firmly on this area, because there's usually a lot of tight muscles around it. All the way up to the hairline area as well. Okay, start again. It's always 3 times. Rest the rest of your fingers. So some people end up doing this. This is very uncomfortable. Rest the rest of your fingers down. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then it says circular hand massage. What happens is this is just rubbing the muscles. Okay, you're moving in small circles from the base, shoulders, so that's 1 round, and then you do 2 more rounds.
Avoid the spinal here.
Yeah, usually I don't press the area, the spinal. So now it's pretty obvious. It's this big patch.
Why do the redness appear on the bottom one side of the spine?
Sometimes it could be pain, consider inflammation. But I haven't seen that much. It's like usually more speckled. Yeah, it could be inflammation. Okay, what's after marjoram? Aroma seeds. Aroma seeds. So with aroma seeds, it's for tight muscles. So when you have work on the body just now, you will more or less have a sense where the tight muscles are. So you can target those areas. Okay, you can do the same feather. Okay, and they do something called the palm slide. Okay, palm slide basically is from the opposite sides of the body. Press the tissues and the muscles together, and then slide across to the other side. So it's this movement, you're pressing muscles, etc. together. It's like playing with dough, okay? And then when we learn, our teachers are very particular that we are moving our hips. So they said, don't do like that. Then you feel very, very tired at the end of the day. So you move your body. So you use your body to actually support you. It's so much easier. Up and down is 1 time. So this is 1. We're going up again. This is the 2nd time.
Must play Saturday Night Fever in the background.
This is palm slide. In some of the books, you see them call it Indian rug. I think they decided to use a more politically
Correct.
name. I think the massage people call it something sweets. I cannot remember what is it. Okay, so this is aroma seeds, right? Now, when you're working on your own, so you might also want to put out a note, either after marjoram or aroma seeds, if you want to add in additional oil for that person. So, depending on the person's situation, if the person's having flu, cold, what would you add?
RC.
RC, peppermint is going to come anyway.
Thieves.
Thieves, wow, I think you're going to burn the Don't add thieves, your boyfriend. Raven, RC, eucalyptus, these are very good. If the person has hormonal issues, what will you add?
Lady, something.
Scleral.
You can lady scleral. I would do less of that because that's really a serum. But if you stick with the essential oils, geranium, very good oil. Endoflex. What else do we have?
Clary sage.
Clary sage. Clary sage, make sure the person is not pregnant. Yeah.
A person pregnant can lie on this.
If they are like just pregnant.
2-3 months.
Yeah. What about mood? If somebody is going through depression, joy,
Common sense.
peace and calming, frankincense. So add the oils intuitively. And sometimes at the start of
For nerves, right, you also can add here, right?
you can add, yeah. Nerves, what would you add?
Sandalwood, helichrysum, cedar wood,
Yeah.
yeah, frankincense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else would be common? If somebody is really in a lot of ache and pain, usually it's already addressed. But if you really want to, you can add deep relief. You can add pan away, copper yiba, very useful as well.
Copper Iba should be after or before to amplify.
Copper yiba on a normal day-to-day basis, always after. Like
Always
peppermint.
after. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So right now, aroma seeds is done. Then we do peppermint. Okay, peppermint. Hey, look. Okay, 1 drop. 2 drops. Tiny drops. Okay. Usually I'll give the person a little bit more if it's an adult. Okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Go.
Okay.
And then Valor. Valor. So notice at the start, we balance the shoulder, we balance the feet with Valor. So at the end of a protocol, it's always good to add Valor as well.
One question. If like the person is bedridden, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing on the feet only, right?
Yeah.
So on the feet you'll do the full sequence, right? All the night oils from Valor and Valor, right?
Yeah.
Including aroma seeds and others.
No, I would just start balancing with Valor.
Yeah.
And then Vitaflex, all the other oils. No need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Then
you want to, you can.
Vitaflex already. That means aroma seeds you don't have to do it on the feet.
Aroma seeds, see the thing with aroma seeds is really dealing with painful muscles. So you can add it, or on a normal protocol, they don't add it for Vitaflex.
Oh, okay.
But if you feel that since I can't get to a person's back, it's good if the person's been lying in bed for a long time, I want to apply it, go ahead.
Okay, because I do it with just layering with all in sequence. I end with peppermint. Usually my hands are like burning. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you grab me the Auto Ease? Now it doesn't say here. There are certain books, the big one. Yeah. This there are certain protocol that will end with Auto Ease. Okay. Auto Ease is a massage oil. Need a little bit more. Comes in the kit for Raindrop. always warm the oil first in your palm rather than pour it on the person, because this is. So this is, if you've been trained in some kind of massage, please feel free to 展现你的才华。
Everything go all the way.
Yeah. Okay, this is just a nice closing. So we just did a training for a spa. Okay, Seletar Country Club. So they are offering Raindrop as a service right now. And they combine it with the first half Raindrop, and because they're doing a 90-minute kind of thing. So second half of it is their whatever they are doing. Yeah, which is perfect. Yeah.
How much do they charge for one Raindrop session for that country club?
100, is it 120 or 150?
For 90 minutes.
Yeah, for 90 minutes.
But normal, if you do it at home, what would be the...
I was going to normal charge your husband 150. What's your question again?
No, if you're going to do it for people, then what would be the reasonable charge?
So I charge 150 for an hour, okay? And I have people charging 120, 150. There are some people who are very trained, and also energy healers, they might charge even up to 200.
But I tried just doing on the back. It just like 15-20 minutes I'm done. Is it I didn't do it correctly?
Yeah, very fast. Yeah, just slow down.
Okay.
Slow down and work on the body.
Okay, okay.
Pace yourself, because there's really no need to speed through. And when you work with the body, you also want to just start paying attention to listen to the body as well. And sometimes it's very interesting. I could be in the middle of it, and I can feel like there's something else I need to add. And even though we say after marjoram, after aroma seeds, if you feel that there's something else that you want to add, please add. Please don't feel like this is going to tie you down. Okay? Follow your intuition. Now, the people who are very sensitive to energy, one time when I was being trained for Raindrop, I was sitting in the room, and our teacher was doing a demonstration of somebody. And then the girl beside me, she starts nudging me, and she says, "See the smoke?" So I went, "How's that smoke?" Then I was trying to look around, like there's something else burning in the room. See the smoke coming out. What smoke? And then, in darkness, when you position yourself properly, you could actually see this gray smoke coming out from here. Okay, and I was like, what? And because she's seeing it, I'm seeing it, and then we nudge another girl beside us. So somebody else in the room who's training together with us, she works with energy a lot. She's just letting go of a lot of negative energy through the process. So we were like, whoa, she's burning. It's gray, it's dark gray color. Yeah, so it's really interesting. Okay, so that's pretty much it. At the end, you turn the person back around again. It's kind of mixed feelings for some people, because they go, you turn here, turn there, turn here, like turning salted fish like that. They're like, do you need so much turning? Also can. In the past, they never do this at all. Okay? In the past, in fact, what happens with Raindrop is after you finish everything, we put a warm towel. So you first put a dry towel on the back, then we go get a really hot towel. Okay, you can steam it with a rice cooker, or you can put hot water through it. Of course, make sure that when it's going onto the body, it's not so piping hot yet, but it's very, very short. Then you cover the person up. The person is facing down. You put a hot towel, the person's lying there. Very, very short, because it's hot heat permeating through the body and driving the oils into the body. The reason why they took it out is because in US, it's very, very particular. So in order to actually perform a hot compress, which is what that is, they actually need you to be a certified massage therapist. Okay? You don't have certification, you cannot apply hot compress on somebody. So that made it very, very tricky.
My ama.
That made it very tricky, because Gary doesn't want this to be something only strictly for massage therapists to do. He wants people to learn to be able to do it at home. So but for the sake of the education, he actually had to remove it. Okay, but if you're doing it at home, feel free to add that on. Okay, so now this version, they've added in the lymphatic pump instead. Lymphatic pump, you have the person turn around. What you're doing is you're grabbing hold of, same thing, the hairline area with fingers. Okay, and then basically all it's going to look like is you're cradling the person's skull at the hairline, and then you're doing the pump very gently. 1, you're curling your fingers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you rest just for a while, and then you repeat. So lymphatic pumps never need to be dramatic anyway. That's what you do. Scoop the person's head underneath. Okay, make sure you are comfortable. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can rest for a while, and like anything else, you do sets of 3. So 2 more sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next round. 1, 2, 3. That's it. And that's pretty much the end of the raindrop session. So let the person rest on the table, get them water. With raindrop therapy, the person, because they've received so much voice, they need to be drinking a lot of water that day. Usually we always encourage them not to go back into a rush for that day because the system is slowing down and trying to get into healing mode. So the last thing you want to do is go play squash, okay? Go running vigorously. Just go home and wind down. Yeah. Any questions?